Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Hello, everybody. This is Guineith Isaacs speaking here. Vincent's still busy with his farm work, so I'm keeping the chair warm for him this morning. And what we're going to be talking today about, I was going to be talking about chickens and rabbits, and I might still get to that a bit later. But there's another topic that's come up on the radar, which is a lot more important than that. And so I think I'd better talk about this. They are rolling out in the UK as we speak coronavirus vaccines, and they are going to try and make everybody get them, if needs be, probably by force of arms. This is not going to go well. You should definitely not get that vaccine. You should probably not be living in town anywhere in the world. If you're still living in town anywhere in the world at the moment, then you should leave and you should find some rural place to be. And the more rural, the more out of the way, the better. And, oh my gosh, many people, have been getting this intuition to move to the country for many, many, many years. And I would say that it's the prompting of the Holy Spirit to everybody who's listening. Those of us who moved out of town a number of years ago are already pretty well set up now. So if the apocalypse happened tomorrow, I'd be okay. I'd survive. There's still so much work that needs to get done here. But I'd be okay. I'd live and I'd keep going, at least, well, indefinitely, actually. But this coronavirus vaccine, why you should not get it, okay? What it is no matter who makes it, whether it's Moderna or whether it's Pfizer or whatever, it really doesn't matter, because if you go to the Holy Bible, it'll tell you that everybody would be required to get a mark, and the word in Greek that's used there has the implication of sticking or pricking or tattooing or piercing. So they didn't have any concept in ancient Greece of hypodermic needles. Hypodermic needles wouldn't be invented for a very, very long time. But they did have the idea of tattooing. They did have the idea of pricking. They did have the idea of piercing. Okay? And so that's the idea, is some type of putting a needle in is conveyed in the prophecy, and it says that you won't be able to buy or sell, and that everybody, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're a free man or a slave, whether you are a man or a woman, anywhere on the earth, you will be required to get this in order to buy or sell. Now, you need to be set up somewhere where you don't need to buy or sell. That's the only way out, and there's very few places now on the whole earth where you can live without having to buy or sell. Now, 100 years ago, there were a bunch of different places. Even 70 years ago, you could You could live in Aboriginal Australia, and there were tribes there that had never known money, never even seen a white man up until 50, 70 years ago. There are Aboriginal tribes in Australia that had never, ever seen a white man within living memory. And there's some of the old people in these tribes that remember those times. They didn't have buying and they didn't have selling. Now, what else is going to be in the chip, in the so-called vaccine or inoculation is a tracking chip. And all of them are going to have them, whether it's the Moderna or the Pfizer or whatever, because they're having senior scientists from these companies like Pfizer come out and say, you need to get injected with the same type of vaccine each time. So if you've had Pfizer vaccines in the past, you can't hop across to Moderna. And so we're going to put a chip in the vaccine to make sure that you don't hop across, you don't have Pfizer one time and then Moderna the next time and all that, Oh my gosh. And when I heard that, I've been actually I've been studying these prophecies for pretty well my entire adult life since I was about 17 years old. And when I heard that, I was literally, Lord God, you are so true. You are coming, Lord Jesus, and I pray that you come, Lord Jesus. That's the truth of it. You should not get that vaccine because it's the mark of the beast, okay? If any of you are going to a church, then you're going to have the preachers telling you, it's not the mark of the beast because the mark of the beast doesn't happen while the saints are here and the saints are here, so it can't be the mark of the beast. Wow. Says who? There's also, in the Bible, it talks about a sifting of the wheat and a blowing away of the chaff, or a separating of the sheep and the goats, okay, meaning, chaff is good for horse food. Chaff is good for mulching your garden with. Chaff is good for feeding your rabbits, but it's not really that good for making into bread. It's not very nourishing food for humans, okay? So you need to take this into account. And sheep and goats. Sheep, oh my gosh. Jesus said we're all either sheep or goats, okay? Now if I'm a sheep, I'm a wild mountain sheep, which is still a sheep, but I'm not a domesticated sheep. I'm a sheep that can live in the wild countryside without getting eaten. But goats are a very different creature. The males are just disgusting, really. They really are. Anyone who's been a goat farmer has had anything to do with billy goats, male goats, bucks, as they're called. They urinate all over themselves. Yep, and I think that it makes them smell good. They have a tendency to be unpredictable, and they will butt you, especially if they don't know you. If they know you, if you're the boss, then they won't. But if they don't know you, they will butt you. They destroy fences. They break into your orchards and ruin your trees. They're really fun little creatures to have, goats. I've had goats in the past. I don't think I'll have them again. And they're actually, which is really interesting, they're actually more, people think that goats are tough, yeah, goats are tough, but they're actually more susceptible to more diseases than sheep, which is a funny thing, but it's actually true. Yeah, so there's a sorting of the sheep and the goats happening. And there's a sorting of the wheat and the chaff, which is happening. And this whole inoculation thing is a part of it. Anyone who is born and bred child of the living God will never ever get this inoculation, this vaccination. Okay, they just won't. And the reason why they won't is because they will know their Bible and they will figure out on their own, no matter what their preacher man says, that this is the mark of the beast and they better not take it. But, you know, there's so many preachers out there who are just false preachers now, you know. It's just really, really sad to see. It really is. Don't get this vaccine. There's other good reasons not to get it too. It goes in and it reprograms your DNA and RNA, okay? And your RNA controls something called the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle, the Krebs cycle is a function that changes glucose in the body. It changes glucose into energy. So it's like the fire that burns. It's like the sequence of fires. There's about 20, I can't remember exactly how many. There's about 26 stages or something like that in the Krebs cycle that is responsible for changing sugar, that means glucose, into energy to fuel your body, okay? And your body can get glucose, obviously, from sugar, also from starch. It can also get it from fat and protein, which is really, really interesting. So when Dr. Shuley says that you don't need to eat sugar and you don't need to eat starch, he's actually right. You don't need to eat sugar and you don't need to eat starch because you can get your glucose that your body needs to run from fat and from protein. And it's a more complicated system, but it probably is better for you because, you know, you might get a few, not so many pesticides if you're getting it from fat or from protein. Yes, but anyway, you don't want to mess with the Krebs cycle. If you mess with the Krebs cycle, that's Krebs cycle, which is the glucose metabolism in the body, then you die. And I don't know, maybe it would be, if there's any medical doctors out there who know more about the Krebs cycle than what I do, then feel free to call in. Or if you want to talk about any of these topics, the number is 866-582-9933, and I'm sure that Jason can figure out how to patch you through. I can't see your call, but I'm sure that Jason can help you out. And God bless. I'll see you all in a minute. Hello, everybody. This is Guineith Isaacs speaking here. Keeping the seat warm for Vincent today. He's got some farm work to get caught up on. Yeah, but we're talking today about why you should not get the mark of the beast. Okay, you go to hell if you get the mark of the beast. That's according to the Holy Bible. That should be a good enough reason all on its own. But before then, oh my gosh, there's so many good reasons not to get it. Okay? Yeah, the Moderna vaccine involves putting nanoparticles into your body, okay, that are basically, oh my gosh, if this doesn't wake you up and make you not want to get this inoculation. I don't know what will. I'd say that if this piece of information does not make you wake up, that you're a lost cause. Okay? The nanoparticles that go into your body are called luciferase. Luciferase. Okay? And, you know, they genetically reprogram your body to make a fluorescent dye that can be picked up on cameras to see if you've got their vaccine. Now, freaky, huh? You know, you walk around like a glow-in-the-dark monkey. You know, you saw these films about 5 years ago, these glow-in-the-dark monkeys coming out of China and, you know, Burma or places like that. I don't know if it's the same technology, but it might be. You want to walk around like a glow-in-the-dark monkey, go for it, mate. If you're that stupid to get this, then you probably should actually get the vaccine. So I wouldn't. And luciferase. Oh my gosh, who comes up with this stuff? Really? Who comes up with this stuff? I'm almost speechless. I'm at the point where my jaw is just hanging open going. There's just not knowing what to say. Really, luciferase. So that means that if you take it, you belong to Lucifer, meaning the devil. So if you can't figure that one out, then maybe you deserve a Darwin Award. Maybe you do. But like I say, it's like sifting the wheat from the chaff, sorting out the sheep from the goats. This is the example that Jesus Christ himself gave. Goats will do anything for, I mean, sheep are pretty bribable as well, but goats are just, you know, they will just do anything for a little yummy treat. You know, sheep, for all their faults, I would say that sheep are probably a little bit more wary in their nature, a little bit more cautious in their nature than goats. It's probably a good thing to be a bit cautious in your nature right now. Yeah, just don't follow the butt behind. Don't follow the rear end in front of you too much, because sheep are also really good. They just follow whatever rear end is in front of them. That's the one that they follow. Yeah, why else you shouldn't take the coronavirus vaccine, any of them. You know, you shouldn't take it because it's going to set up an anaphylactic response to the cold virus. How's that? Wow. Anaphylaxis, huh? What, you mean like peanut allergy? Yeah, that's the one. So if you get the coronavirus vaccine, the next time you meet a cold virus, you're going to go into an anaphylactic shock and possibly die. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yep. Well, I can hear music again, so that means we're at the bottom of the hour. When we get back, I might get into what we should... Hello, everybody. This is Guineith Isaacs speaking here. So I think that I've gone on enough about, you know, why you shouldn't get the coronavirus vaccine, that it is the mark of the beast, that it's going to make you glow in the dark, depending on which one. I mean, as far as I've heard, it's been the Moderna one that makes you glow in the dark like a genetically modified monkey. And that it will set up an anaphylactic shock an anaphylactic response to the the common cold virus, so that the next time you come across a cold virus, you're basically going to go into a peanut allergy or bee sting type response, and then, anaphylactic responses generally kill you within minutes. Yeah, so that's, oh my gosh. That's why you shouldn't get it, It's, I don't think it would be actually useful or helpful here to dwell on that topic any longer, so I'm going to move on. What you should and shouldn't do. This is not going away, okay? And the really dangerous thing, and because this, this vaccine is getting rolled out, you're going to get so many people die as a result of adverse vaccine reactions, and you can guarantee that every single one of those vaccine deaths is going to be labelled as COVID-19. You can absolutely guarantee it, because the hospitals are getting $50,000 for every death that they label as coronavirus. So they're labelling people with motorcycle accidents. I mean, we know all this. This is all old territory. But there might be somebody in the class who's never really heard about any of this. So I'm going to talk about it for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to move on. Okay? There's something like 80% of the people who get the coronavirus vaccine get really, really, really sick from it, like having to go to the emergency department, sick from it. So you want to take something that's supposed to protect you from a deadly virus that makes you so sick that you end up in the emergency department at your local hospital? You want to take that? Yeah, and then you'll get into the emergency department and they'll say, oh, coronavirus. Now, and they'll shove a tube down your throat and blow your lungs out and kill you. Yeah, well, getting that vaccine really helped to keep you healthy, didn't it? Sarcasm there, in case anybody's sort of wondering. So, yeah, that's just another reason why. Yeah. And then, if you it sterilizes people. It sterilizes something like, once again, I think something like 60% of people. It just goes in and, there was one type that, just fried your gonads, but they kind of found out that wasn't such a good idea, so then they just set up another one, another response within the vaccine where the vaccine just kind of goes in and attacks the placenta when it forms. So that means that as soon as the egg lodges within the woman's body and sends out, and the zygote, the little fertilized egg, sends out that little tentacle that becomes the placenta, and the umbilical cord. That that little zygote gets killed because it gets cut off. Like Alex Jones was talking about this earlier today. He said, or yesterday. And he said it's like that you're that guy, you're David in the 2001 Space Odyssey, and Hal just sends you out in a space capsule and just cuts off your air supply, and then you die in space. So yeah, don't get it. It's just, I think I've rambled on enough now. It's been, oh my gosh, about 40 minutes that I've been rambling on to not get the corona. 36 minutes that I've been, 35 minutes or something I've been rambling on to not get the coronavirus vaccine. If you do, you've basically got a death wish. Now, what I would like to get onto now is what you should and should not do at this time in history. We are headed squarely for the most massive collapse of civilization that the world has ever seen, that any of us has ever seen. Okay, and it's literally the apocalypse. It's literally the revelation of John the Apostle. That's what we're headed into. So, if you've got any ideas of, making a vast fortune and, retiring just happy out in the middle of nowhere, I'm actually in favour of the out in the middle of nowhere thing. I think that's a good thing, but you should not wait until you've made a great fortune to do so. You should do it now. Just whatever you have, okay, you need to get as much money as you can together. Buy as much land as you can afford out somewhere rural. I would say a minimum of 20 kilometres out of town. And the reason why I say a minimum of 20 kilometres from town is that if you have to walk 20 kilometres, that's 15 miles or thereabouts. If you have to walk 15 miles, even a fit, strong adult, you're going to be really, really, really tired by the end of it. Even if you're just keeping pace and just putting one foot in front of the other, you are going to be very, very tired at the end of that walk. And I know because I've done it many times. Because I live about 20 kilometres out of town. I live about 15 miles out of town. And sometimes I've had to walk into town. Sometimes I have. And, at other times things have gone wrong with my horse and cart or with my bicycle or whatever, tricycle. I have a electric trike, but, sometimes things go wrong there. Sometimes the battery goes flat or whatever, and you just got to walk it. It's really tiring to walk 20 kilometres, 15 miles. If you are living at least 15 miles from town, and you get somebody comes to your doorstep and they have walked from town, they're going to be pretty tired, which gives you the advantage in having, if they decide that they are really desperate and they want food and they want water, and instead of asking if they try and take it, then you're going to have the home advantage if you were more than 15 miles from town. Okay? And I would say the further from town you are at this stage, the better. Yep. And you might think, well, won't most people have cars? And you say, well, as this thing goes on, the number of people who have cars is going to be less and less. You will find that cars actually become pretty rare. And even the blue team, they won't really have automobiles too much either as this thing progresses, because to have automobiles, you need a petroleum industry and you need spare parts and you need, you need computer experts, because all these cars now, they all use computers, and you need this and you need that, and it's all going to be lacking. It already is lacking from this point going forward. Okay? Spare parts are already in short supply. We've shown that. And you say, oh, what if they have an electric vehicle? What, you think electric vehicles don't have mechanical problems? They just have a different set of mechanical problems. And given that they are computer controlled too, and this AI might seem pretty smart that we've already demonstrated here on the show, especially with Vincent Finelli's excellent work. Sometimes AI can be pretty dumb. That's just the best way to put it, I think. You know, sometimes nobody knows what's wrong with the vehicle. The AI just decides to have a conniption fit and stop working. And if that happens, then your car is just a useless hunk of junk sitting in your driveway. And it doesn't matter if you're the police. It's the same vehicle technology, you know. So I think that going forward, they're going to be having problems too. Okay? This is it. You need to be out of town. You need to gather whatever resources you can now, and you need to leave. And if you can't afford real estate, if you're that low in resources that you just can't afford any real estate, not even a few acres, if you're in such a state that you cannot get $5,000 together to go and buy a few acres of land in rural Missouri or wherever, then you need to go anyway, and you need to pack a tent. And if I was in that sort of circumstances, I'd be going somewhere warm. And I would be trying to avoid human populations. So I would not be going to places like Slab City, and I would not be hanging around Skid Row or homeless camps or any place like that. I would be probably the best place to be homeless at the moment. If I was in the United States, I would not be anywhere in the United States. I would probably be in Mexico. Would probably be the best warm climate place to be. But remember, deserts can be very, very cold places as well. And I'll see you on the other side of the break, and we'll talk about this topic some more. Hello, everybody. This is Guineith Isaacs speaking here. Today we're discussing what to do when you have to face the apocalypse, which is now. Okay, that you shouldn't be in a city or even a small town. That you should already be out of Dodge. But if you are not, and if you need to leave now. Okay, meaning that you need to be packing your bags today, and you need to be getting the kids in the car today, and you need to be leaving either tonight or the next few days, because when they come through with this, coronavirus vaccine squads, they're going to be the National Guard. They're going to be using the military and the National Guard, and they have a plan to have the whole of the United States vaccinated, they say, within 24 hours. This has been out of their own mouth that this has been coming. You can look it up on the internet. You can find this out for yourself, okay? If you can't get to somewhere like Mexico, okay, or if you don't want to go to somewhere like Mexico, if you want to stay in the United States, I would say that the best place to go in the whole of the United States, if you have to get out of Dodge and if you have to have somewhere to go, would be the Four Corners region. Okay, because the Indians who live there, the Hopi who live there, they have they've got a really, really good awareness of all these things that are coming down now. They have an ancient set of prophecies of their own that basically tell what's going to happen, and that that they have been instructed through their own culture to look after the refugees of this time. That when you go and you seek help from the Hopi, you need to go with the utmost respect. Okay? Please don't try and tell them what to do, because they've been doing what they do for rather a long time, and it's worked for rather a long time. So they know what to do. So you're the baby. This is what they say in their culture. They say that the white man is like an infant. The white man's like a baby. And in a lot of ways, we really are. You know, we have infantile responses as white people. Not me. You know, not a lot of the people, not Vincent, not Rich Sheben. We don't have infantile responses. You know, we have responses which are probably more in line with the Native Americans than the general proportion of the population. And I would say that most of the USA prepares instructors have that sort of response, you know, that, not an infantile response. What do I mean when I say an infantile response, by the way? Something goes wrong and you fall down in a heap and just cry. like it says on the buffer. No whining, you know. And I'll admit sometimes when I'm facing a catastrophic set of circumstances, I will go out the back and have a bit of a cry. But that's not where my response ends. Usually it goes into God help me. And it's okay to cry to God. It's just fine. You should cry to God. You should acknowledge your own weakness, but then you should work towards finding a response. You know, you should prayerfully ask God what you should do, and then you need to think. And this is it, because I've had people in the past contact me and they say, Guineith, what do we do? And I say, well, what's your circumstances? Oh, we're living in an apartment. Get out of the apartment. What are you doing in the apartment? You know? Well, I've got children, you know. It doesn't matter. Get out of the apartment. In fact, having children is another reason to get out of the apartment. Okay, because an apartment's a prison camp. And I think that the happenings in Melbourne over the last 12 months, over the last year or so, have shown just how quickly that a apartment building can be turned into a concentration camp. You're a sitting duck if you're in an apartment building. If you're in an apartment building, you should not be there. You should, if you own the apartment, you should sell it. And you should use the money from the sale of the apartment to buy a rural piece of land. I keep going on and on about this. This is what you need to do. Even if the land has absolutely nothing on it, you can figure out what to do. Okay, and you should figure out what to do. You should use it as an opportunity for growth. Okay, we're at the top of the hour, and we need to have the top of the hour news, and then I'll be back with more handy tips and tricks on how to deal with the apocalypse. And God bless you all, and I'll speak to you in probably about 5 or 10 minutes. Hello, everybody. This is Guineith Isaacs speaking again. Keeping the chair warm for Vincent today in hour number 2 of USA Prepares. And Vincent's busy with some farm work again today, getting ready for the winter. I've been flat out with my farm work too. So that's perfectly understandable. It's this time of year, it's the change of the seasons, and everybody is settling in for the, either the few months of intense heat where I am, or the few months of intense cold where Vincent is. So, yeah. Oh, my gosh, top of the hour news. Did you hear that? That they are going to be rolling out within days the coronavirus vaccine all across the country. Notice that they didn't mention the National Guard. But they said it in previous reports that they were going to use the military and the National Guard to roll out the coronavirus vaccine, and this is imminent. Okay? That means happening now. So if you if you are even a little bit awake, if you have a plan to head to a bug-out location, you need to do so now. You need to be packing your vehicle today, and you need to be heading out this afternoon to your bug-out location, and you need to make that your home. And because how are they going to do it? They're going to shut the state boundaries. So if you are in some tiny, tiny, tiny little state in the United States, over east, and I've seen a map of the United States, you've got 50 states. Some of them are tiny. I mean, there's ranches, stations, they call them over here in Australia, stations in Australia that are bigger than some of the United States, okay? If you're in a state like that, you need to leave, and you need to leave now, today. You need to pack up your vehicle and you need to go, because you're going to find that the military is going to be on the roads, and that they're going to be blocking the state boundaries. They're not going to be letting people in and out. So, and because that's what they did here in Australia, and what they did here in Australia is they quite openly said that it's the test model for everything that they're going to do in places like the United States. Now, Australia is a bit of a different kettle of fish. In some ways we have an advantage, and in other ways we have a massive disadvantage. Our main massive disadvantage is that we don't have publicly available legal firearms here. You can't just go to the hardware store and pick up a box of 22 ammo here, or 9mm ammo here. It just doesn't happen. Okay, so of course black market firearms are available. You know, that people who work on the black market don't follow the law. Gosh, did you know that? Oh, duh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, who knew? So, yeah, firearms are still available here, but legal firearms and readily available ammunition is not available here. Okay? That puts us at a massive disadvantage. Now, if anyone comes to my gate, I may not have firearms, but I do have other projectile firing devices, and even if I didn't have any projectile firing devices I would defend this property with my very life with a tree branch if I had to. Okay? What, are you going to ban tree branches? Are you going to ban axes and knives and pieces of string? Okay, because I will pick up whatever happens to be on hand to defend this land and to defend myself, because I absolutely will not get in a vehicle to be dragged off somewhere. I would rather die fighting. So if anyone has any ideas of coming around here to abduct me or my children, and who are adult children now, that, you know, if they better bring their body bags with them, because they're going to need them either for me or for them. So, because I'm not going to allow myself to be dragged off to a camp, and I've already made that decision. If you are, you know, so this is it. You need to have this attitude of mind. You already need to have it. And if you haven't, then you need to build it really, really quickly. You know, you need to recognize the dangerous situation that you are in. You are in Nazi Germany in 1940. Okay, you are there. You are in a worse place than there, especially if you're in Australia, but even if you're in the United States. The advantage of Australia is that the states here are absolutely huge. They are enormous, and they're very, very sparsely populated. And I know I've done it before. I've lived homeless in this place called Australia, all across Australia, right from the west coast to the east coast. I've lived homeless all across this country. And oh my gosh, I can tell you, I have had hit teams after me. I kid you not. Because I had a pedophile cartel after my two sons. When they were young, and I stood up to them and I fought them through, not physically, but I didn't just bow over and let them have my sons for whatever purpose they wanted them for. I actually fought them, and I made, they became my enemy, and they're still my enemy to this day. Oh my gosh, I learned that in the end they sent a hit squad after me, and they had 5 or 6 cell stations. They had spotter planes. They had jet skis on the lake. They had aluminium boats and on the lake, and they had 30 or 40 people. They had high-powered rifles, and they were hunting myself and my sons through this state park just outside of Melbourne, not that far from Melbourne at all. And they didn't get us. If they'd gotten us, they would have killed us. And they probably would have raped my sons to death. So they didn't get us. And we were able to find our way back into town, back to safety. But this is it. You can't, if there's somebody in the Australian bush who doesn't want to be found, you're not going to find them, no matter how many resources you put into it. And that goes for the United States as well. And I could disappear into the bush again, and you wouldn't find me, and I could reappear anywhere in this country, and you simply would not find me. But for now, I mean, the Holy Spirit's told me to stay here on the farm because, I've got to look after this place for whatever reason. That's the instructions that I've been given. But, that's an advantage that Australia has. And I would say the more remote parts of the United States have that same advantage. Like I said, especially around the area of Arizona, New Mexico, the Four Corners area. Okay? Like I said, the indigenous tribe there is friendly, and they will want to help you because of their own culture and history. And as soon as they find out that you are fighting the great big beast, then they will want to help you. But most parts of the eastern United States are simply too developed, too built up. You've got state upon state upon state upon state, just right next to each other. That's not how you need to be. You need to be somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. And you need to be there now. You need to pack up your car today, and you need to go because when they're saying things like this on the radio, we've got this miracle vaccine, oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. Come down to we've got lollies and there's a white van. Woo, puppies and kittens and the lollies. Just get in the white van. Go on, get in that cattle car. Go on. We promise we're going to take you somewhere nice and safe. Haven't we heard this somewhere before? Except, these days, because we're an internet age, it's a virtual cattle car. So and they're doing it this way because now I would say that it's pretty safe to say that there's an epigenetic response that most people have to white vans and puppies and kittens and lollies. You know, most people understand that metaphor. Most people understand what a cattle car is, and that it's not, or, you know, that a bus, you know, although they probably will bring buses in to, you know, take people to places that are convenient for them, FEMA camps, meaning concentration camps. You don't want to be in a society, you don't want to be in a city where that's happening, you don't want to be trying to get out. You want to get out ahead of time. And you need to get out today. Now that they have said that on the radio. I mean, I said that before I heard that radio report. I really did, before I heard that news report. That, oh my gosh, we got the coronavirus, it's going to be so good. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. Just head down to that shopping mall and you'll get it. We'll give you a lolly. Afterwards, after we've killed you, you can have a lolly. You won't die right away. Probably not. You might. But, you know, probably, I don't know, because 80% of the people who take it get really, 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 really sick. So, you know, oh my gosh. I'm actually sitting here talking on the radio to I don't know how many people, could be thousands, could be tens of thousands of people. As the apocalypse is happening, that, you know, within a couple of weeks, there's going to be an announcement of a new coronavirus wave. It's going to kill people, so you need to rush out there and get the vaccine now, which is going to kill even more people. Oh my gosh, such a playbook. You're a fool if you get taken in by it. Hello everybody, this is Guineith Isaacs speaking here. Keeping the chair warm for Vincent today. Yeah, because he has he has to get ready for the winter. And so, yeah. I'm talking today about what you should be doing and what you should not be doing at this point in time. Okay. Just before the break, then I was talking about how the apocalypse was coming, that you shouldn't be in any urban area, and that, you know, this was the worst thing ever to hit. Oh my gosh. I'm at a loss for words, just about. I've been preparing for this day for many, many, many years. I really, really have. I would say at least the last 20 years. And I might just make it through, you know, with my son. I might just make it through. If you're somebody who the penny is just dropping now, boy, have you got some catching up to do. But it's not impossible, and you shouldn't lose hope. Okay? You need to, like I said, you need to get out of Dodge. Even if that involves just packing up your car and putting the kids in the back and, you know, some blankets and whatever food you can spare and some toys for the kids, and getting out of there as if you were leaving a really bad relationship and that your partner had, you know, gone to Vegas for the weekend or whatever. And then you said, right, kids, get in the car, we're disappearing. You need to do a disappearing act right now, because what is going to happen is that you're going to see there's going to be a lot of adverse vaccine reactions from these vaccinations, and they're going to be called coronavirus cases, and they're going to fill up the hospitals. They're going to get these people in, they're going to shove a ventilator down their neck, and they're going to blow their lungs out, and they're going to kill them, and they're going to call them coronavirus deaths and collect a $50,000 check from the government for each person that they do this to. That is how the death camps are going to run now. So you see hospital, you should write, in your mind, you should write Auschwitz over the top of that hospital. You should, at this point in time, avoid hospitals and doctors at all costs, because the vast majority of them are completely brainwashed. Okay? So you need to do that. You need to get out of Dodge now, and you need to head west, and you need to head south, because, something that Jesus said, he said, let not your flight be in the winter, nor with sucking children. If you're breastfeeding and this is happening, my prayers go out to you. Oh my gosh, this is not. I'm a mum. I've been a breastfeeding mum in the past. My total sympathy. If you're a breastfeeding mum and you have to do this, even if you're breastfeeding, but you need to get out, and you need to get out now. Okay? This is really, really, really that serious, and I can't emphasize it enough. I feel like that angel was Lot in the city of Sodom, just wanting to pull him out by the garments and just drag him out of the city. You need to go. You need to go now. Okay? There's going to be massive deaths within a week or two. They're going to be called coronavirus deaths, and there's going to be a propaganda campaign like you have not ever seen for people to be vaccinated. And they are going to be going from door to door. They're going to have the National Guard. You're going to find that if you're in town, that you're a complete pariah if you have not got that vaccine. So you need to get out now, and you need to just start living out in the middle of the, as we would say here in Australia, out in the whoop-whoop somewhere, or in America you'd say out in the hinterboonies. Okay, we're at the bottom of the hour. I'll talk to you again in a few minutes. Hello, everybody. This is Guineith Isaacs speaking again, keeping the chair warm for Vincent. We're in the home stretch of the broadcast now. Oh my gosh, there's so much more to say. I've got a really, really limited time to say it. But I would like to spend this time just giving people a little bit of advice of how to bug out and probably not get caught. I'm saying probably not get caught because, time and chance happen to them all. Okay? So you need to, this is going to maximize your chances of being able to bug out successfully. Okay? I would say that the primary one is take the back road. Stay off the highways. Stay off the interstates. Okay? Look on a map and, look at the road that, while you have Google Street View even, go on Street View, use a proxy, use a VPN, okay, because, you're probably being tracked now, but if you use a proxy or a VPN, then your chances of, not being tracked are probably higher. And if you want to know what an excellent free VPN is, go to opera.com, download the Opera browser, and then once you've downloaded the Opera browser, that's opera.com, and the OPERA browser, then you load the Opera browser, and it has a free VPN installed as a part of Opera. And it's probably as good as any of them out there. It'll send you through the Ukraine, or it'll send you through, Japan, or it'll send you through somewhere like that. And it'll send you through Mexico, which is the other place, It'll send you through any one of about 16 different countries all over the world, or maybe Holland, or maybe, I don't know, somewhere that has not such strict internet monitoring rules. So I don't, whatever. Open the Opera browser, turn the VPN on, go to Google and look at Google Maps. Well, by the way, while you're not signed into your Google account, that's obvious, okay? So log out of your Google account while you're on Chrome or whatever, or don't log in when you're on Opera, and just go to Google Maps and just go to Street View and just check out the roads, the back roads, okay, for your route. And find a route that is, going to be suitable for your vehicle, but is a kind of an out-of-the-way, sort of not many traffic lights and that sort of thing, not an interstate. This is how you do it. And you'll find that most of the Blue Team members tend to keep to the interstates because, the major regional roads, if you stay off those roads, then probably you won't meet them. If you have a vehicle with four-wheel drive, that's all the better. Okay, but I'm aware that there's a variety of people with a variety of different circumstances. Just because you've got an SUV, it doesn't mean that it's any good at handling bush tracks, at handling forest trails. But the more, I probably wouldn't go to that level unless you're used to driving on loggers' roads and that sort of thing. But if you are used to using logging tracks, they obviously would be the best of all. But it's probably not necessary. Probably the bitumen-type country roads are probably going to be okay. But yeah, just go on those sorts of roads to go from state to state to state to state to state and just keep heading west, And if you want to know how to keep heading west, then look where the sun rises and look where the sun sets and keep heading in the direction of the sunset. And then you'll somehow end up west. That's just how it is. But have a map, paper maps. Okay, paper maps of each location that you're going through. And before you leave your location where you are, you should find an ATM machine and you should empty your bank account and take the cash and use that to fund your journey. Don't use your ATM card along the journey. Okay, don't use your credit card along the journey. Okay, you need to take out the maximum amount of cash that you can out of your credit card. Don't worry about maxing out your credit card at this point in time because it doesn't matter. Okay, if you're wrong, which I don't think you are, but if you're wrong in bugging out. If you're wrong in bugging out, then you can pay your credit card off later, okay? But if you are not, then you've just saved your entire family and you've saved your own life, okay? But you need to liquidate as much as you can, as quickly as you can. And you need to have as much cash with you before you start the journey. And you need to be very, very cautious about, the amount of money that you spend. You probably need to find a grocery store. If you haven't got things like pasta and stock powder, then you need to find a grocery store before you leave. And you need to basically buy all all the pasta and stock powder and potatoes that you can, okay, and onions. Potatoes, onions, pasta and stock powder you can live on, and powdered milk powder. You can live on that as you're travelling. Just when you go into a roadhouse, you go in, you buy your fuel, and you if you need to buy water, then you buy water in 10 kilogram, sorry, not 10 kilogram, well, it is 10 kilogram, 10 litre bottles, big bottles of water. And if they don't have the 10 litres, that's 10 quarts, then 5 quarts is the next size down. If they have 20 quart bottles, which is 5 gallon bottles, then you should get the 5 gallon bottles, okay? And be very careful with your water. So you go into the roadhouse, the truck stop, you fuel up, and you, if you need water, then you buy the water. If you can refill it from their taps, then you should do so. I don't like drinking town water, but if it's a choice between drinking town water and dying of thirst, especially when you're heading into a warm climate, then you should probably drink the town water rather than die of thirst. And just think of all the lovely pure water that you're going to have when you get to your destination, which is going to be, you're going to pick somewhere with a good water supply. So drinking town water for, a short time during your journey is not really going to, probably not going to harm you as much as dying of thirst will. Okay? This is what you need to do. Don't buy food at the roadhouses. Roadhouse food is way too expensive when you're traveling. And I'm speaking here as somebody who's actually done this, okay? So I'm teaching you what to do, of how to bug out and how to do it successfully, how to get there, how not to be stopped, okay? Don't let your kids out at the roadhouse. Tell them, you stay in the car. Mum will be back soon. You go in, you pay for your fuel. Maybe if you want to buy the kids some chocolate bars or something just to keep them quiet and happy, then maybe that would be something that you could do from time to time, because your kids are going to be stressed. They're not going to know what's going on or whatever, And the story that you need to feed your kids is, we're going camping. We're going for a holiday. We're going camping. Don't tell them what's really going on, because children cannot keep their mouths shut. This is just it. And, by the way, when I had the need to depart suddenly, I had 2 young sons with me. I know this. I've done it. So what you're hearing is my first-hand experience of how I did this and, how I managed to, get from one end of the country to the other. And I was basically 2/3 of the way across my journey before, and like the next state across, which in Australia, and almost 2 states across, before they even figured out I was gone. So you need to do this, okay? You can do this. Oh, my gosh. Keep moving. Don't camp anywhere in an urban area. Don't use the main roads. I cannot emphasize that enough. Use the back roads. Even just in a suburban or an urban area, don't go through the middle of the CBD. Skirt around the edge of the city. If you can't avoid but to go through a city, find out a route through the suburbs and just keep driving through the suburbs. This is where paper maps come in really, really, really handy. And like I say, if you need to, if you need to go on Google Maps, use Opera, and do not log into your Google account when you're on Google Maps. Okay, we're heading up to the final segment, and I'll be back in a moment. I'll be winding up this broadcast, and yeah, God bless you all. But like I say, I've just got one or two more things to say. I'll see you soon. Hello, everybody. This is Guineith speaking. I know I've said this in the past, but this is probably true. This is about the most important broadcast I've ever done, because now we're getting to the pointy end of things. And if you haven't already left your urban or suburban life, you need to do so, and you need to do so now. Now. Okay? You need to, just regarding the topic of technology, okay, you need to either not have a cell phone with you. That's probably the best option, okay? But if you feel that you absolutely need to have a cell phone with you, okay, for crying out loud, go on the internet before you leave on the Opera browser on the VPN and find out how to obtain a burner phone. That's BURNER phone. That is a phone with an anonymized SIM card. I'm not going to tell you how to do it over the radio, okay? But you can go online and you can find this information. And you need to, when you have got your burner phone, you need to keep it in flight mode with location turned off, okay, unless you are at a truck stop, all right? That's what you need to do, unless you are probably at a fairly big truck stop. That's what you need to do. But if you want zero chance of being tracked, then you need to travel without a cell phone, okay? Your chances of being tracked with a burner phone with the location turned off are minimal, but they are there. There is a chance that somebody might put two and two together and, find out who it is. And if I was traveling at the moment, if I needed to get out of Dodge and not be recognized, I probably actually would wear their stupid little face diapers, okay? Because just for the sake of defeating the facial recognition technology, okay? Because all of these roadhouses, they all have the facial recognition technology, and if you have a driver's license, which you probably do, then they've got your facial image, okay? So this is how to do it without being tracked. And also probably a pair of sunglasses as well. The world's in such an insane state that if you walk into a roadhouse with a face diaper and a pair of sunglasses, then probably nobody's going to blink an eye, especially if you have cash and you're just paying for fuel and then you're just out of there. But they're going to track your number plates anyway. So like I say, you should try. You can't avoid roadhouses. You've got to buy fuel, okay, to keep going on your journey. But this is it. You need to get as far as you can, as fast as you can, before anybody has figured out that you're gone for good, okay? So you need to, like I say, you need to be multiple jurisdictions away within 12 to 24 hours. And probably, if I had to pick a time to leave, it would be probably in the middle of the week in the evening. That would be my time to go. So weekends, the blue team tends to be out on the road because that's when they operate their main extortion racket, being what we call in this country booze buses, which is random breath test checkpoints. You know, dust pepper and bitter. Right, we're just about at the end of the broadcast. I've only got a few minutes left, and in these last few minutes, I would like to go into what you should do when you're at your new location. When you're at your new location, okay, you need to make friends. If there is an Indigenous, if you're not completely out in the middle of nowhere, okay, if you're in a place that has said basically that they are welcoming to people who are refugees from this circumstance, like, for instance, the Four Corners district, you need to behave like a guest, and you need to keep behaving like a guest. You need to be so grateful to the locals for taking you in, and you need to try and behave as normally as possible and try and behave as civilly as possible and try and settle in and make a new life. But always remember, they were there first, and you should behave yourself like a visitor and like a guest. And God bless. You have a great week, and I'll see you later.